The reason I'm going back and looking at all of this is I believe we're weeks away from a war, weeks away from an escalation no one can avoid. Millennium Challenge 2002 is, I believe, the most expensive war game in U.S. history, where the U.S. spent $250 million to simulate what a war with Iran would look like. I encourage you to go read about it. The results were very eye-opening. The U.S. was defeated in minutes. So the U.S. side sent a message to surrender to the Irani side, led by Van Ripper, and they were hoping that they would surrender. If they didn't surrender, the U.S. was going to attack and wait for a counterattack. That's not what happened. What happened is, once U.S. foes were within range, Van Ripper's forces unleashed a barrage of missiles from ground-based launchers, commercial ships, and flying planes low without radio communications to reduce their radar signature. Simultaneously, swarms of speedboats loaded with explosives launched kamikaze attacks. The carrier battle group's Aegis radar system, which tracks attempts to intercept incoming missiles, was quickly overwhelmed, and 19 U.S. ships were sunk, including the carrier, several cruisers, and 5 amphibious ships. The whole thing was over in 5, maybe 10 minutes, Van Ripper said. Then what happened is kind of crazy, because they're like, well, what are we supposed to do? Sit here for 13 days? No, we have to change the rules. You have to turn all your radars on. You have to communicate through your radios. You can't use motorcycle communication or through the mosque's loudspeakers or things like that. You can't launch suicide boats at us. They basically changed the script to ensure American victory. Van Ripper walked away. He said, this isn't, you can't learn like this. You have to, I'm fighting like I believe Iran would fight, asymmetric warfare. That's how they're set up to fight. Even their army, the Revolutionary Guard, none of it's set up to fight a conventional war. Tank to tank, plane to plane. So, yeah. The reason I'm going back and looking at all of this is I believe we're weeks away from a war. Weeks away from an escalation no one can avoid, because the Zionists in Congress are pushing for it. Doesn't matter who the president's going to be. The psychopath Netanyahu is going to launch strikes against Iran. Iran is going to launch devastating strikes back. We know this. And then all-out war. And this war, what our former military that speak about it are saying, it's going to take at least 2 million soldiers to go into Iran. We're going to be looking at $1 trillion a year, and it's going to be nothing. Iraq in 2003 is going to look like a walk in the park to what is going to happen in Iran. Vast country, 80 million people, the youngest population on earth. Yeah, I don't know. It's like, it's bad all around. I encourage you to go read this.